Hello everybody, and welcome back to Crusader Kings, where we are currently, apparently, facing a dangerous faction here. Hello, fine title. I want to see if these are real. I suspect this is, but let's find out. Okay, 260 right now. Okay, it jumps down to 64, 65%. We've got some peasant rabble, we've got a liberty faction. That's not as big of a deal. This independence faction is kind of a big deal. So this ransom is acceptable. This one is also acceptable. This ransom is also fine. Beyond that, we could found a holy order. We're not going to do that. We do need to deal with these factions. Step one, though, I'd like to spend down our gold. So we're going to get some horizontal windmills going here. We're going to get some blast furnaces. Fantastic. We're going to get another horizontal windmill, and there's over half of our gold gone already. Next, let's get trip hammers going. Let's go for additional trip hammers and blast furnaces for this one. Fantastic. We're just going for blacksmith upgrades. These are pretty expensive, and that is fine. There we go. Hillside grazing lands, and there's all that money spent. Phenomenal. So now the question is, how scared are we of this independence faction? And the answer is not very. They're 7 months apart here between the Liberty and the Independence faction. Okay. That doesn't seem too bad in theory. Now, this guy is imprisonable because he is... well, he's a known criminal. We must have demanded his conversion. Yeah, that's what happened there. So the King of Al-Andalus is, of course, a bit of a problem here. What do we got going on here? We have a granddaughter, right. Yeah, we have kind of a lack of children right now, especially with this guy having died. That would have been our player heir, right? So this guy is now... oh no, our grandson is our player heir. Okay. Gotcha. So that's okay. We're definitely going to tick forward here. We're not going to start up any external wars because we clearly need to handle this unless we could get the King of Aquitaine out of here. He has 247 reasons to be in this faction. Okay. What else could we theoretically do? I mean, not a lot. There are things we could do, but there aren't really things that I want to do. I think I would choose to fight this faction. Realistically. Are they all Catholic? This guy's not. Okay, we could demand his conversion. It won't hurt anything. It might help something. We can demand this guy's conversion as well, and he is in poor health. He may not survive. We'll see. We can definitely... 3% chance. Can we just send this guy a gift? That doesn't actually help anything. Okay. Well, that was a waste of 100 gold, but that is fine. A weak hook? No, we'll not bargain for his soul. It's not a super dangerous faction. This ransom is acceptable. This ransom is also acceptable. This one is also acceptable. So that seems absolutely fine there. This guy wants a hook as well? No, we're not going to give you a hook. No, we're not going to give you a hook. Cool. So that's absolutely fine. We have a hook on this guy. So what is his reasoning here? Minus 1315. How are we coming up with that number? Base of minus 150. Opinion of us minus 34. Outside liege de jure plus 143. Neighbors in the same faction plus 25%. Personality minus 14. And that apparently adds up to minus 1315? I'm not getting that here. Okay, let's run a quick calculation here. So, base of minus 150, right? And then minus 34 for his opinion of us, which is quite positive right now. And then we add in 143 for being outside of the de jure liege. Now, I'm not sure if the percentage here ends up being calculated here or after the personality. Either way, we're currently negative. So I'm going to do minus 14 here and then calculate the plus 25%. So 25% of negative 55 is... or actually, we can just multiply this by 1.25, right? And that puts us at, in theory, minus 68.75. Okay. I have no idea how they're coming up with this 1315 number. Regardless, based on this number, this guy should not be in this faction. But he is. So clearly there's something going on here that I don't understand. Well, I guess that's fine. So for now, we're going to accept these ransoms. These are all completely fine. We're back up to about 2,000 gold. I do want to check in on the status of our rebels here in a moment. It should be quite soon. So we're upgrading our bellows here to boost up our men-at-arms. That'll be fine. Trip hammers is okay. And we'll get another one going here. Perfect. No, that's too expensive, obviously. So how are we doing on this faction? They're now 22 months away. These guys are 9 months away. That's interesting. With the peasant rabble being 28 months away. So that's definitely fascinating here. Specifically because we only need 1% power here for this faction to no longer be relevant. So there must be something that we can do to prevent this from happening, right? This guy is already at plus 90 opinion of us. They are losing that offensive war opinion malice, which is good. Okay. Our wife died, and we didn't love her, so that's probably okay. What else do we need here? We're at 12 out of 9 domains, so we obviously need someone with high domain. Okay. Well, Bleeder is not great. Hunchback is not great. I guess we can go for a skill 23 here. Alternatively, yeah, the ugly comes from our side of the family here. So, alternatively, we could look for an alliance over here with perhaps someone like this. What do we got here? Skill 13. Okay, it's not amazing. It's definitely not amazing. I think we just want the stewardship. Yeah. I think we just want the stewardship. So, both of these are in fine health. Liang Li is obese, which will, of course, cause potential problems down the road. Not as much as Bleeder, and Hunchbacked is not necessarily something we want to get into our family. So I think we'll go for Estefania here. And she is lowborn, but that's fine. No problem whatsoever there, I think. Perfect. So this guy just went up to plus 10 opinion of us. Oh! That guy left that faction. Beautiful. So these guys are now too weak to send an ultimatum. Now all we've got is this Liberty faction. So this is actually a really good position to be in. I mean, we do have the peasant rabble. I don't care about that. The peasant rabble is kind of irrelevant. So these guys are going to fire in 7 months. Al-Andalus is the ringleader here. We can pre-raise there, although we don't want to yet. We'll get there. The real question is, do we want to actually get acclaimed knights? I've been just completely ignoring that. And the reason for that is because it's high maintenance, right? Do we have any of these that we can do? So the Hornblower of Wargla is currently a marauder. Okay, that's not necessarily great. Scoundrel is, what is this trait? Mercenary higher cost? Okay. So we would need to go in and do a restore accolades, but we actually can't do that because of this here. And that's one of the major reasons why I don't really utilize accolades, to be honest. We have to have at least one inactive accolades and no knights who can be appointed to it. And the way I read this, which is clearly incorrect, but the way that I read this is that means that we don't have an appoint button here. However, that's clearly not the way that it works. What it's clearly looking at is saying, well, this guy could fill that role if you forced him to be a knight, but he doesn't show up in this list unless he's a knight. And that's what I don't like about accolades. We'll see if they make changes to accolades. I would definitely like to get some accolades going, though. Maybe we could recruit this guy. He would be... I mean, a Lancer would be good. Lancer and Vanguard? Actually, we may want to recruit this guy. Force him to be a knight, and then we would put him in as a Lancer and a Vanguard. Not Retinue Vanguard. Requires primary... Okay, so this has to be a primary? Yeah, so he would have to be a Lancer and Valiant. Or boosting up our heavy infantry, which we only have 1 unit of cavalry and 1 unit of heavy infantry. So for right now, I would say this is reasonably fine. So we create this accolade, and that would allow us to boost up our armored horsemen, right? So then I would go through and probably end up... Well, what is the Serpent of Wadon? If we were to appoint this, what would we end up getting out of that? So this is currently Thug, which would get us Dreadgain per Tyranny, and then Contender. So I don't think that these are actually all that useful. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through our inactive accolades, and we're going to get rid of all of our currently inactive accolades. We've done basically nothing with the accolade system in this game. We've just kind of inherited some. So we have somebody to buff up our horsemen right now. I'd like somebody to buff our siege, to buff our crossbowmen, to buff our pikemen, and to buff our armored footmen. Eventually. That's probably not going to be a thing for right now. So this guy would get Marauder, which we know is a potential not great thing. Thug is not amazing. Huntmaster is also not great. So this guy would get Disciplinarian. That one's a decent, like, supporting accolade. I'm looking for primary accolades here, though. So Marauder is not ideal. Pike Captain, though. That one's pretty good. So we'll put that in, and we'll create the Silver Pilgrim. Fantastic. And then we're going to look to get successors for each of these as well. We can only have 4 accolades right now, but we now have an accolade for our Armored Horsemen and for our Pikemen. We're going to also need one for our Crossbowmen, for our Heavy Infantry, and our Bombards, which ends up meaning that we don't have any space here because of our Men-at-Arms setup. We don't have any space here for any supporting knights. And we are going to have to leave off perhaps the Bombards for right now. So if we're to create another accolade here, right, what would we end up going for? This guy's got Besieger as a potential option. So that's actually interesting for us. That would allow us to siege much faster, right? So we can force this guy to be a knight. And then, do we want this to be a Huntmaster on the secondary attribute? Honestly, Fanatic might not be bad, but the secondary attribute is kind of changeable, right? So it would be something like this, the Sword of God. Fantastic. These are all low level, of course, but that's fine for the time being. So for right now, then we would grab... I would really like somebody to buff our crossbowmen. So Disciplinarian would not be ideal. Vanguard is, of course, good for heavy infantry. We've only got the 1 unit of heavy infantry. So for right now, I would really like somebody to buff up our crossbowmen. That would be ideal. Tactician is, I mean, that's good as a supporting knight. We don't have room for supporting knights right now. We might get that as we rechange our situation here, right? So Stalwart and Scoundrel, those are not amazing. Are there traits that would buff crossbowmen? Surely there are. I'm not sure that I've ever seen them, though. Huntsmaster seems like maybe it should, but it absolutely does not. Crossbow Captain. Okay, there it is. Perfect. So it would end up being this guy. He does not serve as a knight, so we would, of course, have to force him to serve as a knight. And then Huntsmaster is fine. Do we want Tactician as a secondary trait? That's a pretty good secondary trait. Stalwart is as well, though. So Army Toughness plus 15%, or Men-at-Arms Counter Efficiency plus 35. I feel like the Men-at-Arms Counter Efficiency is maybe slightly better here. So I think we're probably going to go for the Tactician. I might regret that, though. I don't really have any math on that. That's just a gut feeling. So it would end up being something like this for our accolades. We cannot get a 5th accolade at this moment. So that, of course, means that we currently can't increase the size of our crossbowmen, but we can increase the size of our pikemen, of our armored horsemen, of our bombards. And eventually we'll be able to increase these crossbowmen as these level up, right? So now let's go through and see if there are any available successors. There is Mayor Donato of Alto Aragon. So we would need to make him serve as a knight, and that is, again, something that should be available from this screen here. You should be able to have the force, allow, and deny buttons right here. There's room for it, right? We shouldn't have to go searching for Mayor Donato in this entire list and then force them to serve as a knight. So he's skill 9, and that's this guy. There we go. So we're going to have him be the successor here, although he's significantly older. For now, that'll work. And the Silver Pilgrim, we need a successor here. We'll have to seek a successor. Okay. What about for the Sword of God? Do we have anybody available? Nope. And for the Noblest of the Catholics, we do have a few available here. So Yabgu would be decent at skill 17. Let's see. Where is skill 17? Yabgu. Perfect. So now he's going to serve as the Noblest of the Catholics as the heir. He's 46. I mean, this isn't great, right? We're going to have some issues there, most likely. But let's kick on forward. And the real question is, with that additional power, is this faction even going to fire? Probably yes. Okay, so that's absolutely fine there. We're certainly going to head over to Zaragoza and upgrade our workshops here to boost up our bombards. We can get this ransom paid. That seems absolutely fine to get this gold. Yep, no problems whatsoever there. And next we are going to, well, not really do anything. All of our personal castles are currently upgrading, and that's the status that we want to be at. We could spend money on other things here. Spending 900 gold on glasses. We are on the learning tree. Let's do it. So we get glasses there, and of course, now we could grab, say, Church and State for Realm Priest Opinion. That'll be great, because that will, of course, basically ensure that our Patriarch is always super into this. So I like it. Speaking of Patriarch, hey, Pope. No, he doesn't have gold. We probably wouldn't want to spend piety on that anyway. When is our truce up with Valois? That's something that we do need to ask. This guy. 23 months. Okay, so we've got plenty of time on that. Show this guy in. That's absolutely fine. Good effort. It's not an easy language. And we've got about 2 months now until this Liberty faction fires. So it's still currently led by the King of Al-Andalus. And this seems completely fine. Ooh, we can appoint this guy as the successor to the Worthy Pilgrim, or the Silver Pilgrim? Yes. So that's Bergthor. Cool. What skill was he? Skill 18. Okay. Again, I really think we shouldn't have to go to another screen to do this. Force allow for bid buttons. There's plenty of room right here, right? So, in my opinion, they need to change that. I do like the accolade system, and it's very powerful, to be clear. I just think it's a little more fiddly and maintenance required than necessary. So, this ransom is acceptable. That all looks good. We should be finishing up these constructions fairly soon, in theory. Yeah, a lot of them. However, this is going to fire very soon, right? So that's going to fire in 1 month. We're going to raise up our men-at-arms. We're also going to raise every single levy troop we have. We don't know how many exactly are going to abandon us when they fire, so we're just going to do this here. I just want to double check. Yes, Al-Andalus is still the faction leader. Perfect. They can send their ultimatum at any time. Bring it. We did just finish up construction in Toledo. This is acceptable. And that's our vassal demand artifact. No, get out of here. So here in Toledo, we are going to continue to work. We have armored horsemen stationed here. Wait a second. Something's not right here. We have armored horsemen stationed here, but no stable. What's going on with that? I just now noticed that. That must have happened when we did our reshuffling. So there is intended to be a stable here. I'm pretty sure about that. We have Camp Smiths right now. And that should be changed over to be a stable? Absolutely. Do we have grazing lands available here? No, so just a stable in theory. However, we may want to consider swapping something around here. Well, we don't have anything stationed here in this location. Oh, wait, this is a barony that we're not supposed to hold. We grant that off like that. Okay. And then we could theoretically, like, revoke this title. I'm not sure if this guy's in this faction. We're going to have to handle that eventually. So the real question then is, where do we want our heavy cavalry to be stationed? So let's hop over here real quick. Yeah, they're raised right now. So we can't really change this. This is definitely noted as a problem. So military granaries, I'm completely okay with. Goldsmiths are fine. Training grounds are probably okay here. This is really set up to have heavy infantry in it. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split off our armored horsemen and our heavy infantry, and I'm going to disband just those. Everyone else will remain here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to head up over here, which has small horse ranches in it. We're going to swap the armored footmen here. So they're going to be stationed in Toledo now. They're going to be far stronger there. And then we're going to move these armored horsemen to be stationed here in Huesca. Now, this is going to need work to get set up correctly. We're still fine building these bellows. The mobile camps here can get swapped for stables. I can't believe I did that. That's kind of insane. Okay. This is going to be a much better setup. So over here in Toledo, we definitely want to continue to boost up our men-at-arms toughness. So we're going to build barracks here. Okay. That's going to be a significant boost for us. We should probably make sure that the rest of these are fine. So we've got crossbowmen here. We've got a tunneler's guild. We've got campsmiths. We've got goldsmith. That's absolutely okay. This is about as good as we're going to get for our crossbowmen here. Pikemen here. So we've got our blacksmiths, we've got our training grounds, and that's probably about the best we're going to get. Here we've got crossbowmen, so we have our Fletcher's Guild. We are potentially lacking in having militia camps here. Yes. So do we drop the cattle pasture, or do we drop the gamekeeper's lodges? I think it makes more thematic sense to have the gamekeeper's lodges here, even though this doesn't actually boost our crossbowmen. I think that does make more sense. Okay, so I'm going to, for the time being, cancel the upgrade of this blacksmith. Let's swap our apiaries here over for militia camps. There we go. So we'll do that for now. So having the militia camps, having the Fletcher's Guild, having the goldsmithies, that should be maximizing that. Up here in Molina, we definitely do have our regiment of bombards here. So, I mean, the best we can do there is workshops and goldsmithies, right? But I'm not sure that goldsmithies actually help the besiege rate. I don't think they do. So this may not be a thing that we need. Here we have nothing stationed, and that's fine. This is primarily a location where we're wanting to make money, right? So in Zaragoza, we have a similar sort of situation. That's okay. And then up here is now becoming our cavalry. And for the moment, I'm going to do the same thing here just so that I don't forget. If I can select this. Got it. Okay. There we go. That took a few tries. We'll get rid of this blacksmith. Well, we're not going to get rid of it, but we're going to ditch the mobile camps. We're going to stop upgrading the blacksmith for the moment. And we're going to get stables built here. Yes. Now, this is probably still not optimal, because what we would end up wanting is something like... where was that? I know we had one around somewhere. Yeah. Walls and towers here. That boosts heavy cavalry damage and toughness. Can we build that here? So as a hypothetical, that would replace something like this. No. Okay. So it would be probably optimal to have those here instead. But I think this is probably good enough. So now we're going to need to re-raise those couple of men-at-arms that we put down and moved around. They're going to be significantly more powerful, at least in the future. I'm not sure that they're going to be significantly more powerful right now. So this guy can send his ultimatum at any time, right? And we're just waiting for him to send that. Is this it? This is it. We will not be threatened. Okay, so here we are. We did lose a decent number of troops. Now the question is, where is this guy? He is in this army. Noted. So we're going to siege this down. I'm not surprised to see another faction brewing up here because our threshold is going to drop due to this existing situation. Let's split off bombards and some levy troops. Let's keep around 20k here, I think. Something along like the lines of that. And I'd like a siege commander here if we've got one. Pay to recruit. 31 gold, that's not bad. Okay, we'll pay to recruit that guy, and we'll let these guys lock in here, and we'll go up and stack wipe. This is only a mercenary band, but we'll stack wipe that regardless. There we go. I'm interested in seeing where these guys are planning on going. This direction. Okay, as soon as we get this sieged... Okay, we're going to get prestige here. I'm just keeping an eye on their situation here. They need to take our capital, right? That is their overall goal right now. Can we move over this way now safely? Yes, we can. So we can move to try to intercept this force. And that's exactly what I want to do. I'd like to cut off these guys and prevent them from grouping up. We have the inside track here. So we want to fight them up here, where hopefully we'll get them fully eliminated. Okay, we got a small force there. Okay, if we were to go in here, they probably do have more men-at-arms. I suspect that is indeed true. So we're probably not going to fight them directly here. We'll try to find another opportunity. They're going this direction, which is completely fine. We can slow siege this, and that's actually going to be a pretty fast slow siege as far as slow sieges go. So I'd like to keep our siege force close. We'll just pop up over here for now. We don't want to allow these forces to group up. That's for sure. They're heading up here. Okay. I'm interested in potentially a timing thing here. So, when would these guys leave? 9 days, 12 days, 11 days. So we want to arrive in 12 days. So, 1, 2, 3. Like that. And then we go in. In theory, we're going to catch something. And we caught nothing. Okay. Well, that's very sad indeed. We're going to head down over here. And we're going to look to fight these guys here, but yeah, I expected to catch something there, to be honest. This is really close, actually. This is really, really close. We're going to bring in... Do we bring in a holy order here? Honestly, we can. So we can bring these guys in as quick reinforcements here. They're going to be fairly nearby and hopefully get there in time to swing this battle for us. This is very close, but we're not quite having the advantage here. We still don't quite have the advantage. Okay, let's get a couple of merc forces then. These are going to be pretty expensive. And we're going to go here, and that's it for now. And we're going to bring them in as well. This is really, really close to turning to our side here. Now it's going our way. Barely. Okay. So these guys, as soon as they're done, are going to head on in over here. Successor over here. Noted. And we could certainly get an upgrade over this way. Upgrading these workshops sounds good. Few additional reinforcements come in over here. We barely win this battle. But we do win it in the end. So that's great. We're going to finish up this siege, and we can just head straight down here. Keep in mind, ticking is on our side, or will be, unless they take Toledo. So, what we're going to do is we're going to siege this. We're going to allow them to start up a siege on Toledo. As soon as we get this done, we're going to head up there. Okay, so now we're going to head this way, where we will have the defensive and a numerical advantage on them. We'll send you back to your master. Okay. For now, that's fine. So we're at 55% here. They are running away from this. We should easily win this. And indeed we do. Fantastic. So we win this before their reinforcements arrive, putting us at 61% war score. Then we come down here. This should stack wipe. This war is swinging our way very decisively now. So from here, we would like to come down and fight this force. Beautiful. We're at 66% war score. Okay, now we'd like to come over here and fight this force at 75% war score. Unfortunately, we don't directly catch them here, but we might catch some of them over this direction. Potentially. Yes. Looks good. We caught a 10k stack there. Beautiful. That puts us at 83. We can cap this back, putting us at 95. And then we can come over this direction. Ticking is on our side here. We have 6%. So we don't actually care about these guys running around. We just take this back and we win. Beautiful. War is over. We enforce those demands and disband our troops. There we go. Now, this faction should no longer be a thing. The peasant rabble can send their demand at any time. We don't really care about the peasant rabble, though. Yeah, look at that threshold. Fantastic. So that's much, much better. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to probably go after... I see the HRE took some of this territory up here. We'll probably end up going after Valois quite soon. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. This guy's imprisoned, so we're going to revoke this title. Fantastic. There we go. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.